Hi guys, this is Mike and this will be a review of the Elysia Xfilter 500. And at the same time this will be part 1 of an EQ shootout between 5 different EQs for the AP500 system. In case you wonder what they are, you should see a chart on screen in the next couple of seconds. Please note that I will do a review for each one of them and then also one final video, video number 6, which will consist of the direct comparison samples between these EQs and my final verdict which EQ I find to be the best one, which one I am keeping. So if you are interested in that, please subscribe and hit the notification bell. Okay, so today we are looking at the Elysia Xfilter 500, a true stereo device, so no dual mono or mid-side mode, but of course you can totally run a single mono source through it. It's a 4-band EQ where the high and low bands are shelves, but with the push of a button can be used as high or low cuts. Here are some graphs which show you how the low and high cut buttons change the frequency curves. As you can see, depending on the gain, we have pretty high peaks and steep cuts. Furthermore, we have 2 bands for the mids, high mids and low mids, and 2 buttons to change the Q factor from pretty wide to a more narrow form. In case you're wondering what the exact differences are, the Q factor of normal operation is 1 and the Q factor of narrow is 0.5, so it's not terribly narrow. Elysia says it's designed for very musical processing, and most engineers work with digital filters for more surgical applications anyway. That's what Elysia says, by the way, not me. What that means though is that we don't have the possibility to change the Q factor as we please, like on the SSL Ultraviolet Eq for example. But here we have 2 fixed options basically. Also, the Xfilter 500 features a switchable passive LC filter called Passive Massage, which according to Elysia is designed for polishing the high frequency range. Basically, it's a shelf that starts to fall off at around 17 kHz with a resonance peak at around 12 kHz. They claim they specifically designed that for overly clean digital workflows, to polish the highs basically. Also, we do have stepped pots, but there are 41 dents on each and every single one of them, so recall could be a little bit difficult. And since I couldn't find info on Elysia's website if the bypass is a hardwired bypass, I'm going to assume it's not, but we will test that later in the video. The same is true for the headroom. They don't mention that anywhere, neither in the manual or the website, but they did come out with an Xfilter Mastering Edition, where they mention an improved headroom of plus 27 decibel. So we're going to assume that on the vanilla Xfilter it's below that. I reckon it's in the area of 24-25 decibel, but it could be below that also. Okay, so enough technical details, let's listen to some sounds. So I prepared a couple of different samples, all of which I will be using on all the EQ reviews by the way, and I also made 2 technical tests, but I will keep this short. So first of all, I tested the bypass on the Xfilter. So I sent out white noise from my DAW, which internally is set perfectly to -6 dB. I made a test track, the second track that you see here, the white noise going out from my DAW and through the cables I'm using in this review. So we have the same cables and the same digital analog digital conversion. This signal comes back at -6.2 decibel, so we are losing 0.2 decibel in the process. The third track is the same as the second one plus the bypassed Elysia Xfilter, and here we have -6 dB for a long time until it peaks at -6.5. So as I said in the beginning, the Elysia is not a true or hardwire bypass module. Keep that in mind when filling up your lunchbox. The next test is easier to explain. It's a test if the Elysia messes up the stereo field, aka the stereo separation, when it's engaged. For this test I engaged the unit, turned up the gain on a couple of frequencies and played back a mono sine wave that I then panned in the DAW and checked if the Xfilter would follow. And well, to make a long story short, it absolutely does. Even if you have the gains set up to a pretty high level, both the left and right channel are treated the same. So we did pass the test, rejoice, the Xfilter is not messing with your stereo separation at all. Okay, so and these were the technical tests, and now let's listen to some samples, and I'm going to tweak or play with the Xfilter. I'm not going to be subtle here, sometimes I'm going to push the gain settings just so we can see how it sounds in more hardcore settings. And yeah, all of these samples are from the same song, which by the way is a total work in progress, so it's really not finished in any shape or form. But still, I think it's good enough so we can test out these EQs with it. Right, okay, so let's do this, and after that I'm talking about what I like or don't like about the Xfilter 500. See you later. Enjoy.
into you. I am into you. You're my soul, you're my love, you're my beat, you're my heartbeat. I am into you. I am into you. Distress love is you are what I need. I am into you, but all my headaches remember me of you. Distress love is you are what I need. I am into you, but all my headaches remember me of you. I am into you. I am into you. You're my soul, you're my love, you're my beat, you're my heartbeat. I am into you. I am into you. Distress love is you are what I need. I am into you, but all my headaches remember me of you. Distress love is you are what I need. I am into you, but all my headaches remember me of you. I am into you. Graceful autumn nights, revealing every sight, tempting yet mundane, alluring what I crave, walking through your maze with my bones of glass. Is it me or you? Or is it what we do? Distress love is you are what I need. I am into you, but all my headaches remember me of you. Distress love is you are what I need. I am into you, but all my headaches remember me of you. I am into you. I am into you. You're my soul, you're my love, you're my beat, you're my heartbeat. I am into you. I Distress love is you are what I need. I am into you, but all my headaches remember me of you. Distress love is you are what I need. I am into you, but all my headaches remember me of you. Nights.
Okay guys, welcome back. Here's now the part where I'll tell you my opinion on the Xfilter. And I'm actually going to use rating categories for that, which are as follows: versatility, ease of use, recall, sound, and overall score. Okay, so first point, versatility. So in that regard, I would say we are doing fine, but not perfect. We do have shelves or cuts for the low and high bands, but no bell. We have 2 fixed EQ settings for the mid bands, but no possibility to form the EQ factor beyond that. We do have the passive massage mode, the LC filter, but to be honest, I was not blown away by it. Most of all, I'm missing more narrow Q settings, especially on the mid bands, to really filter out unwanted frequencies. So all in all, I'd say versatility is 3.5 out of 5 stars. Ease of use is good as soon as you get used to the layout. At first it was a little bit confusing that the high shelf starts in the bottom right corner and we basically travel from the bottom right to the top left, frequency-wise. But after 15 minutes or so, I adapted to that. The knobs are nice and big as well, and I had absolutely no problem setting the Xfilter blindly. The layout and where some of the buttons are is counterintuitive though. For example, why is the LC filter, the passive massage, that only affects the highs, not near the highs but on the top of the device? Things like that. But as mentioned, you get used to it. What I really was missing was a trim control, a volume control. I would have never thought that before this series of tests, but I've really come to love the trim pods on the other 3 EQs. I mean, how are you supposed to compare sounds when you boost a couple of frequencies and suddenly your whole signal gets louder, and as soon as you bypass the EQ, you're 5 dBs under your EQ'd signal? I mean, that's no way to compare sounds. So in this category, ease of use, I am again rating the Xfilter 3.5 stars. It's good, but not perfect. Recall. So let's make this short. I know we do have stepped pods here, but come on, 41 steps or dents per pod? There might as well not be any at all. Even if I take pictures or write everything down as good as I'm able to, I don't believe that I could perfectly recall a setting 1 month later. The error proneness is just too big for that. So no, in the recall category the Xfilter 500 gets 1.5 stars from me. Last category, the sound. The sound is, well, first of all you have to realize that the Xfilter is a very transparent tool. If you're looking for something with a little bit of color, well, this is not it. So we have a very clean, very transparent tool here, and the good thing is that it sounds better than a lot of EQ plugins. On the other hand, it's too wide for surgical applications, and as mentioned, it does not add any color or character to your sound. So it's a little bit of a catch-22 here. It's a clear upgrade to in-the-box EQing, but on the other hand, I feel that, spoiler alert I guess, all of the other EQs in the Shootout add a little bit of more character or sweetening or simply more musicality to the mix. If you do search for the cleanest hardware EQ out there, however, I mean, this might be it. But still, I feel that you get more character for just a little bit more money. And so I'm giving the Elysia Xfilter 500 3 stars in the sound category. It's an upgrade to most plugin EQs, but there are better hardware EQs out there, and even here in this series of videos. So, if we add all the stars, we get an average overall score of 2.88, which equals 3 stars, and I totally stand behind that number. In my opinion, if you consider the price, yes, the Elysia Xfilter 500 is a good piece of hardware. But if you're looking for a truly great EQ, I would recommend to invest a little bit more to gain much more. No pun intended. Okay, so that was it basically. Let me know what you think in the comment section, and we will talk more in the next review. That will be of the SSL Ultraviolet Eq. Until then, please subscribe and hit the notification bell, and I'll see you next time. Bye. With 2 eyes.